This is the Be the Solution podcast. I'm Maria Quattrone, and today my guest is Brian Danney. Brian is one of the founding members with the Beer Home team out of San Diego. Over the course of the last 10 years, they have sold over $560 million in volume. He personally sells about 100 million and 90 homes a year. Sold over 21 million in volume in July 2023. He actively coaches teams in US and Canada through the Agent Academy and has a wife, Lauren, and two kids, Dylan and Noah. And he's played hockey at Syracuse University. He's found a passion for mountaineer. Oh, we'll talk about that. Mountaineering, and just returned from a big expedition in Bolivia, submitting two peaks north of 19,800 feet. I'm excited today to welcome my guest, Brian, to the show. Hi, Brian.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, Brian. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm
Awesome.
great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right into it. So I want to talk about this this climbing mountains, mountaineering.
Yeah.
And mountaineering. And the reason why I want to bring this up first is what is it that, like, what do you have to overcome in order to summit almost 20,000 feet? Like, what are some of the things that you had to do that, and I know this is a newer thing for you. So I wanted just to dive in because this does actually relate to being in real estate today.
It does. I appreciate you recognizing that. Yeah. So it's funny, like beginning of COVID, my good friend, Daniel Beer, let's go climb Glacier Mountains. I'm like, yeah. So he dragged me my first one. And then I'm like, I'm not sure if I love it. And now fast forward 3-4 years, I am incredibly passionate about it. Let me tell you the reason why it's just been so influential in how I show up in my business. I learn something new every time about myself. I learn a new principle. I just making my way up to the top of that mountain is probably one of the most emotional things you can do. It's a lot of hard sweat and tears, but the lessons learned are just never ending. And I apply in my business, and I just typically have like these epiphanies going off. For example, like some of the key lessons I learned, in order to climb a mountain, I have to be coachable, right? Like I have to listen to the guides, the Sherpas tell me where to go. And if I try to like say, and I got this one, I know where I'm going to go, and I misstep, I'm going to fall into a crevasse. I probably won't make it back. And that's the last you saw of me. So that's something that I really, really hold on to dear in this business, because ego gets in the way so much. So yeah, there's a lot of those little things. I have a few others, but they're, being present, not thinking about how to get to the top, but just living in the first, in the 5 steps that are in front of you versus getting so overwhelmed and consumed with what's in front of you, way up there. That there's like little takeaways like that.
So it reminds me of when you start your year. So we're in real estate, so we're going to direct this to real estate. But at the beginning of the year, you say, okay, here are my commitments for the year, my goals, and I want to sell 50 homes, for example.
Yeah.
And it looks like a mountain in front of you.
Exactly.
Because you have, how am I going to do 50 or 100 or whatever your number is? And so you have to take that one step at a time, one day at a time. And what principles would you say you would apply to that by comparing it to mountaineering?
Yeah. So keeping it simple, right? Like just keeping it simple is a big thing. I think we live in complexity, and we worry too much about not about what we need to do today or the next hour. We worry about how to play catch up, and when we play catch up, that's when we do things out of character. Like we find ourselves doing things we normally wouldn't do because we're trying to make up ground to like get back, or get another hour to make it to the top, or whatever it is, or get in real estate specifically. I need to make up 10 deals. I need to make up 10 deals versus, what if I just focus on doing like one more hour, or focus on 5 more contacts a day which if you did that over the course of like 5 days and then now a month and then a quarter, I guarantee that will get you a few more deals along the way. But we do things out of character, and that's where we get in trouble. If you keep it simple, you make it a lot easier on yourself, and you can build good habits, right? Like when we mountaineer, we have this headlamp that we put on because we leave in the middle of the night. It's like pitch dark out. And there's a reason why the guides like us to do that, because they want us to come back down in daylight. But the reason I love it is I'm not looking at the top. I'm not looking at the snow bridge. I'm not looking at the crevasse. I'm only focused on 5 steps in front of me. So when I do that, I just imagine every day I show up in the office, I just got my headlamp on for the next 30 minutes. And then I'll look at what's next. But I'm not consuming myself in distraction and everything else that might be getting in the way. So.
Well, we can definitely have squirrels that we're squirreling.
All the time. Yeah.
All the time. So let's talk about your daily routine. What does it look like? You get up and you go in the office?
Yeah. So I'm very, very consistent. And that's the one thing that I think has allowed me to be so successful, just my consistency with my routines. Morning routines are important because that gets me the jump start, gives me the momentum I need. My day typically starts right now. I'm on the mend because I tore my ACL. I just had surgery, so I'm waiting to get back into the weight room. But I have PT. I start my day with meditation and then do some other things until I'm here in the office, and then it's rinse and repeat. It's start my day with birthday videos, which gets me in a good space. And the reason I like it is because, frankly, it just puts me in this space where I'm sending birthday videos to people. And it doesn't matter what happens next. If I call and I'm prospecting, which I'm going to do after that, and someone's dropping profanity at me and they're mad I'm calling, it's okay. I did something good today. I wish somebody happy birthday in video. So it gets me in like the right space, no matter what energy someone tries to pull me into. So it's birthday videos. It's then prospecting for a full hour, then role play every day. It doesn't get old. I have to sharpen up my tool set, and then I get in follow up. And then after that, after my follow-up, after my prospecting, after my role play, my days vary. Some days I coach other teams. I coach other agents. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's jumping into just spending time with my family. Like maybe it's an appointment, but I don't let things pull me out of what I know is going to build my business, my book of business, which is the prospecting follow-up. I think follow-up is actually one of the most underrated things. So I think that gets people in trouble where they start burning out because they're trying to find their next deal. And if you just stay consistent with the follow-up and build those relationships, those people aren't going anywhere. You'll know exactly where to go with what's coming next. So, that's
the fortune is in the database, which is in the follow-up.
Yeah.
In our case, it's follow-up boss.
Yeah.
And you have Salesforce, I think.
Yeah, no, we're follow-up boss too. Yeah, we have smart lists. Like I play a game of Uno every day. It's like, how can I clear out my smart list? That's it. I want to get 0. I'm yelling Uno on my last dial. Like I am focusing on just clearing those things out. And I got about 8 of them that I just on routine every day. Smart list.
Dialing it in and getting extremely focused.
Yeah. Exactly.
So right now, there's a lot of, we're recording this at the end of April. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the real estate industry, as many are aware. And I'd like to hear, Brian, what your take on it is.
Yeah. Listen, I'm super stoked for the opportunity because I've always been a big believer in getting people to commit to me if I'm going to commit to them, especially on the buy side, articulating value, all that stuff. So I've been big on exclusivity agreements and getting representation and explaining where things come from out of the gate. I think that's going to do me a justice, like in this whole thing. So it's not new. Conversations are new. We're actually more the sellers now living in this space, right? Do I have to pay commission? Do I not have to pay commission? And I'm excited. I'm really excited where this is going to go because, frankly, there's nothing that changes. In my opinion, there's nothing. The only thing that changes are the things on the MLS with like visibility on what people are compensated. But agents need to be a little more direct. They need to ask the hard questions. They need to run. And sellers always have the option whether to pay a commission or not. They're choosing if they want to hire someone. They're not being forced to do it. They're not forced to accept an offer. So the area that I'm enjoying is actually explaining that to sellers right now who are actually, asking questions. And Maria, the thing that I'm doing that's actually working so well is I'm not waiting for people to ask me questions. I'm actually running towards it. I'm actually embracing that conversation because now I'm opening up a line of communication with people. Just letting them know I'm not going to back down of that conversation. And if they want to go find or get information, they'll come to me versus going to Google or talking to somebody else. My door's open to that. So I love the way that I've been with family, friends, SOI, all that, past clients. It's an excuse to reach out to anybody I haven't spoken to in a while to see if they know what's going on in their industry.
And so from your perspective, Brian, how is the consumers and clients that you've spoken to, what's the feedback that you're receiving?
Yeah. Great question. I'm finding that it's creating way more urgency with first-time home buyers and VA buyers right now, more than ever, because I'm sure we're gonna have creative ways of getting around the commission structure in July, and there's a lot of unknowns. So we got to focus on what we know now. So I'm sure things will change with VA loans and like what's allowable and not allowable, but I'm just letting them know. Now we know we have certainty of what it looks like, and it will change in July. So I'm actually getting people, moving forward with the process a lot more than I had before, because I have a reason to let them know that they need to do it, or else this will change the complexion or the dynamic of what they can afford, what their buying power is possibly. So, and they are all gravitating towards a certain piece. So that's actually getting me more business right now, believe it or not.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, more business. What does that look like for your market? Inventory is still pretty low?
Yeah, we're low right now. We are, we're low, but what I can tell you, there's still a lot of opportunity right now. There's still what I call a lot of new listings out there. In where I've had success called in the last 2 or 3 months. Yeah, the homes that are new coming to market, priced well, getting in the midst of competition. But and I'm sure you're seeing this too. I'm curious, Maria, if you're seeing this, but there's a lot of homes that are sitting in the market that are not priced well. They're 30 days on the market. There are a good amount of those who, misjudged where they thought their value is. And I'm actually, buyers who want deals right now, I'm like, great, let's do it. In fact, here's the strategy. It's what I call beat the seller to the reduction game. And we're jumping into those deals. We're treating those 30, 45, 60 days homes that are on the market with long time on market as if they're a new listing. And we're just writing offers, and we're getting those accepted at really fair pricing. And what we're doing is we're putting ourselves in a position, for the most part, to do it before it goes public, because that seller, it was inevitable. They were probably going to drop price anyways. So we're beating them there. And that's what I'm loving about this market, is there's a line between the ones that are moving quick with low inventory and the ones that are stale, that are still great homes, that are just overpriced. So
they overshot the market.
Oh yeah, they're living on planet Mars, but it's okay. We'll bring them down to Earth. We'll let them know what they're worth. So, and we get a little more motivation out of there too. So it's like finding that right time to do it. And the only way we can really understand which sellers are more open to that is by probing and asking the right questions to the listing agent. And you can only get that if you're really meeting that other agent where they're at. We always talk about meeting the buyer where they're at, meeting where our clients are at, but we never talk about meeting other agents where they're at. And that gives you the information and how you can push your posture or any of that. So
it's better than having 10 offers to compete against.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are still fun to win too, right? Those are still fun to compete, but there's other opportunities. We ignore the other ones that are stale. And I think there's a way we can get our buyers excited, because everyone wants a deal, right? Everybody's saying they want a deal. Good. Let's go out and get it. Here's how to do it. So
we just had a little property that we put an offer in for a buyer for an investment, and there were 28 offers.
Holy moly.
Yeah, but we won. And we use escalation clause, and my agent partner, Tanya, is very happy about it. And she's only in the business 1 year. So I said, come to me, agents with all offers, and we'll get them accepted.
Yeah.
Right? So we're working with me for 20 years in the industry versus don't go. If you want a team, don't go at it by yourself.
I'm so jazzed you just mentioned that, because I was literally just coaching a team this morning, and I do a whole thing on how to have a winning offer. And one of the key things that most people try to do is team or no team. Frankly, you can still find leverage and have another voice whether you're on a team or not. It doesn't matter. But we try to do it ourselves. Like, it is crazy to me. Like, I still, to this day, with the amount of volume I'm still saying, hey, Dan, will you make this call for me? Whether I know the agent or not, I want the validation. So, like, you just literally just said that. When it's another listing agent, something I love to do, and you don't have to be on a team to do this. What's preventing you from, like, finding that listing agent's name, typing into Facebook, and finding mutual clients to then ask if they know and put a good word in for them, right? Or maybe you can go to your vendors, if states that have title or escrow or whatever it is, or lenders, and ask if they know this agent, and hey, put a good word in. Like, lean in, pull levers. Like, don't try to take it all on yourself. I think it's absurd. It's absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if you have to do that, if you don't have your team leader, so I think there is a lot of weight when the team leader picks up the phone and calls the other broker, the
Yeah.
listing broker, and says, my agent partner is putting an offer, and I wanted to let you know, here's the qualifications of the buyer. We're buttoned up. Because even though the name's on the contract, they may not even see it. They're just seeing, oh, some agent I don't know. Who is this? So you have to use all the tools that are in the toolbox and be creative and put in it. It's like an extra little bit of time. But that extra little bit of time could be the tipping point. I don't know if you read that book.
Yeah.
Well, The Tipping Point.
Yeah. Years ago.
Gladwell.
Yeah.
That's a really great book. Forgot about that book. I just remembered.
It's a good one. The one I read a few books every year. Heart of the Soul is one that I think is just like, it hits me every time. It's, if you want to know how to, like, speak to people and understand love language and, like, understand how to connect, like, that book is fire. Essentialism is an amazing book just to let go of things. That one changed my life.
Yeah, that little gray book.
Yeah. It's but really, like, 4 things I highly encourage any agent to do that just is different with offers. Like, there's probe information, get information up front. But 1, don't send an offer with, like, it drives me crazy, even on my listings, 8 attachments, 9 attachments. Like, make it easy for the listing agent to navigate through. Like, why don't you put it all in 1 attachment?
That's right.
So you're organized, right? Like, what if you did something more creative with your subject lines? I think the subject lines are, like, the most underrated thing ever. That's a first impression. Someone's judging you before they click open. Like, look at the subject line. Maybe you get good information from the listing agent when you probed information and intel before, and then you heard a word that they used, and why wouldn't you just pop that into the subject line and say, hey, listen, I'm just like you. I use the same key words. Like, subject lines are so underrated. And video, I use video in every time I present an offer, I record a video, always. And I do something, I attach agent testimonials. I show the other agent what it's like to work with me based on other experience I have with other agents. So I get testimonials from other agents that I include, which I highly recommend it. It's a game changer. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Getting testimonials from other agents you work with to know that you are a professional. And I'm sure a lot of people know that you are a professional in the San Diego market. But just in case you're not, well known.
Yeah.
Little tidbits to use. Are you guys waiving inspection contingencies there, or what do you do?
Yeah, where contingencies are being waived, like the normal stuff. It's actually coming and going. Like, we see more. Right now we're seeing appraisal contingencies pretty much waived on every deal. Short loan contingencies, but we're having lenders basically stepping up and saying they will close by this date or they'll pay this X amount per diem, which is actually helping significantly. But inspections are still there for the most part. I'd say about 50-50 on a majority of the deals here in San Diego.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you do walk and talks?
Walk and talks?
Yeah.
Walk and talks. What are walk and talks? Maybe I'm learning something new. Walk and talk.
Walk and talk. So you bring the inspector out during the show, and you do the walk and the talk, but there's no report.
I love that.
And so now you can waive the contingency
Yeah.
because you've already done the inspection, although it's not in writing. I mean, it's not that hard. Look at the heater. How's it look, inspector? Roof. They go up on the roof.
Yeah.
The major systems, and they do. It's an hour long instead of the detailed 2 hour, but it gives the buyer peace of mind that they can remove that contingency, and hopefully that'll make it a win for that.
Yeah, not in this market, but COVID market. I was doing stuff very similar to that. I didn't know the name of it, but I like that name so much better than what I called it. I was just bring your inspector to the showing. The walk and talk is way sexier than bring your inspector to the first showing appointment. Yeah, no. But not now, but I can see us coming back to that space very soon for sure. Yeah.
Walk and talk. I call see and sip. See and sip. Come see the house and sip. If there's a broker tour, see and sip.
Yeah.
See the house and sip whatever. Water, champagne, whatever, you're getting. Depending on what time of day it is. We're not going to be sipping at 11 a.m. Well, at least I'm not going to be. So I'm sure there are some.
Yeah, on first showings with clients, I do let's grab a coffee, and I call them 5 minutes before we show up at the house. I ask them what they want from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever it is that I'm going. I get them a coffee, and then that is my consultation in the driveway. They owe me the conversation after the showing, after first showing, so I can at least dive in and learn more about what it is they're looking for. So I do grab a coffee with people. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about what it took to do the 21 million last year in volume. Because you talked about it, but I never really I didn't get like the full story on it, the full scoop.
So the best thing about it came from
Did you sell $120 million house?
No, I did not. It was not one house. But what it was is that it was essentially one open house that I squeezed a lemon on to get all these other opportunities. That's really what it came down to. It was a house, a luxury home that I sold, found the buyer. I double-ended that. I met other neighbors. I got listings. It all stemmed from this one house. I met other buyers that I sold other homes to from that list. So it was a blend. And I literally just closed about 3 months ago the last opportunity I got from that open house. But I just squeezed the heck out of it. And that's what worked. So when I talk about that month of July, like leading up to it, I didn't consume myself in all the other distraction. I had some other leads come in, and I certainly made sure that I catered to them and I responded and I was prompt. But I went all in on my process. Like I did all the things I needed to do. That's how I had such high success. Before I even had the open house, before I had my first showings of that house, door knocking, calling every agent that sells homes in that neighborhood to let them know about something I had coming soon. Why? Because I want to put myself on a pedestal when they show up thanking me for inviting them. When a new buyer doesn't know me, now wants to talk to me because I'm in this space that makes me desirable to have a conversation with, right? They're seeing that I'm interacting. And then secondly, the agent is now appreciative of that. They're letting me know about other things they have coming soon. So I'm leaning into like exclusive opportunities with them. I just went all in. I went in the database. I found hashtags of people looking in that area, and I just called them. And that was my obsession. And my obsession week 2 was just making sure I called every single person with a follow plan after that event. So it was a 2-week process that just led me to 7 amazing transactions, 8 on another month, but amazing opportunities. And it all came together. So that was that month.
It's funny how work works.
It does. It definitely does.
Like that's my number one saying I've been saying for 20 years. Work works.
Yeah.
You do the work, it works. And then of course be the solution. Yeah. We are the solution to our own problems. We want to have something, a better life. Look in the mirror. Be the solution. You have the power to change your life.
Yeah, I love there's this thing that John Chepak always talks about it. You're in a car, you're stopped at a light, someone hits you. Whose fault is it?
Yours.
That's right. It's not the other person, but we always blame the other person. I literally saw that this morning on my way to Starbucks. They're screaming, no, like you put yourself in that position, right? Like obviously things happen, but yeah, looking in your mirror, I think it's the same philosophy. Like there's opportunity in everything. And sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's painful, but like that's what makes us better. And like nobody is perfect at all. I'm still journaling the things I fail at every single day because that's going to make me better. And tomorrow there's going to be something new. And if we're open to that and we just check, like that's how we started today. Like you check your ego outside the door, like the unlimited opportunity will surface if you're open to it. It's pretty powerful.
And looking and being in gratitude.
Yeah.
Of all the blessings that you have in your life. Yeah, you had a surgery for your leg, your ACL, but great gratitude that the surgeons did their job.
Yeah.
And gratitude that you could get the surgery.
Yeah. You know what about that surgery too? Like, so I tore my ACL. Very, very much appreciative. It's funny with NAR. I did a post on this the other day, but it just hits me hard. Like, would it be fair to say, Maria, you think that like most agents are like waiting till July to like take action or have the tougher conversations? Would you like? There's agents out there that are doing that.
I mean, I think so. I think that most run away and hide and put the covers on your head.
100%. So like, what I've done a number on my leg. In fact, I tore my ACL recently, but I tore my Achilles 3 years ago. When I tore my Achilles, and God, I keep trying to show off in front of my son. That's why I keep doing this. But when I tore my Achilles, I went into that day just surgery day. It was surgery day. I'm going to go into surgery, and then I'll be fine. That was like 6 months of recovery. I was in the dark hole. I was on like pain meds. So I was in terrible space. I remember my wife driving me around for 6 months to all my shinies. It was like the most ridiculous thing ever. And I was auditing, like, what could I have done better? So this time around when I had surgery, I did physical therapy well before. I had surgery. I didn't just show up for surgery, just like people are going to show up in July and wait for like the new NAR rules. I was proactive about it. And less than 2 weeks later, I'm walking without help, without crutches, without anything. I haven't taken a single pain med. Like I'm driving week 1.5. Like I'm already like thriving. It's because I leaned into my PT. I did what I needed to do to get ready for it. And those are like the lessons we can learn. So like the post I made was like, let's do our PT today and not wait until surgery in July because we're going to get in trouble. Like it is a dangerous game to play if you're not taking those reps now. So, yeah.
Well, I think being proactive just in general in life is helpful. And we aren't always proactive, right? There's things that, we push off and take as much proactive action as you can.
Always.
So, a couple of questions. So, what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure?
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn. Okay. Yeah. Popcorn. Like I will go to a movie, not see a movie, walk out with popcorn. Like I love popcorn. So popcorn is a guilty pleasure. Like my nostrils perk up when I smell popcorn. I love popcorn. But
I wish I could eat it.
Yeah.
I can't eat it. It gets stuck. It gets
Yeah.
stuck, so I can't eat it. And I love popcorn too.
Yeah.
It is a good guilty pleasure.
It is.
So what are you most excited about for the future?
I am so excited. I'm excited for July. I'm excited for July to happen because I think there's going to be a line in the sand that's going to make our industry better. I truly believe that. And I feel like the people that aren't here full time, they'll still have an opportunity to be here or step it up. I think we're just going to be better. I think our industry gets a bad rep. And like, it's time that we're treated like the professionals we are for those that show up every day. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for rates to drop too. That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited for rates to finally drop at some point because that'll make things a little bit easier navigating through things. But those are the two things that come to mind regarding our industry. Personally, I'm excited for my next mountain. I've already circled it. I can't wait to get back out on the mountain in November. I am back on that thing, and I'm going to have a new lesson learned, and I can't wait for that one. So,
And which one is that?
the goal right now is to do volcanoes in Mexico. So we'll be heading to Mexico. People don't think there's glaciers in Mexico, but there are. So, yeah.
So Mexico, where Mexico?
In Mexico, it's near, I believe it's near like the Baja area, like a little bit inland. It's somewhere coastal, which allows us to get some cultural experience, and that's exactly why I love doing all these international trips. Like, the culture and the opportunity I get there has been incredible. It's been Bolivia and Ecuador, and like watching, just learning about these cultures that I would never have had an opportunity to at least explore before. Has been an amazing excuse to travel and also climb a mountain. So yeah, volcanoes in Mexico.
It's a great excuse to travel.
It's such a great excuse. Mountain, culture, food, nothing beats it. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Well, I'm very proud of your success, Brian. I think I'm happy for you and of your accomplishments in mountaineering 2 mountains. I'm out on that, but I'm all in the food and the travel and the culture.
Well, you can still go, and you can still there's base camp. There's options on mountains. Like, everyone, like, and that's the thing though. Not everyone has to run everyone's race. Like, there's opportunity anywhere. So if you're up for it,
absolutely.
There's still an excuse for sure. So, cool.
Well, I'm excited for seeing what transpires over the next year or so in our industry and how the bar will be raised. And I think that is an excellent thing. And there's lots of opportunity out there for the people that want it. So with that, Brian, thank you for being on Be the Solution. You've been a wonderful guest. I appreciate your friendship and your great smile and your honesty and enthusiasm and positive spirit.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. Anytime. Happy to come back.
We will definitely be doing that.